So history is a Greek word, and this word in the Greek is called as a historia. Then what is the meaning of the historia? Means it's nothing but inquiry. Inquiry means something we are doing research to learn about something. That means indirectly it gives the knowledge. It gives the knowledge. So history means it is the meaning of the historia is inquiry. Why we do the inquiry? To know about something, to learn about something, to get the knowledge. Okay. History is a Greek word which has derived from the word historia. This history derived from the Greek word called historia. Historia means inquiry. Okay. And who is the father of the history? Herodotus is the Herodotus is known as the father of the history. So this means more research has done by the Herodotus on history. So that's why he will be called as the father of the history. Herodotus is the father of the history. Okay, now let us explore more about the history. Okay, we have learned now what is the history, from where did it is derived, where the history were derived from, which language, and who is the father of the history we have learned. And now let us learn about like how many types of histories we have. Do we have types of histories? And what is more about the history? So let us discuss now. Sources of history. So how can we believe that there is a history? Can we believe that there is a history is there? Can we do any kind of research to know about the history? So let us discuss. Yes. So to learn about the history, we have sources of history. To learn about the history, we have sources of history. So what kind of sources of history we have? And first, let us see that. And now, before going to the sources of history, history has been divided into two categories. So, before going to sources of histories, first let us see how many types of histories we have. So, here the history has been divided into two categories. One is prehistory and the second one is history. So, what is the difference between prehistory and the history? So, prehistory means the history which tells about, there is nothing information, nothing proof about the, such history will be called as the prehistory. That means before recording there is no information about this prehistory. We don't have any books. Okay, we don't have any inscriptions, we don't have any monuments, or no art, nothing, no coins, no buildings, no manuscripts, nothing we can find about the prehistory. And who comes under this prehistory? The early man stage, which already we have, learned in the grade 5. The early man, just now we have discussed that Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and Neolithic age. So this stone age, this early man, this stone age, comes under the prehistory, because at the time the early man, he doesn't know anything to record, because in fact he doesn't know how to eat, how to cook, how to dress up himself, how to talk. So nothing information was known by the early man. So this all stone age comes under the prehistory, where there were no kind of records were available for the prehistory. So that's why that this history will be called as the prehistory, where there were no records are found about this history. Okay, the complete stone age means the three stone ages which we have: Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and Neolithic age. So these three stone ages comes under the prehistory. Then what is history? Okay, then what is history? The recording of history. That means whatever the records we have, whatever the information we have. If you take the records like coins, manuscripts, buildings, monuments, art, inscriptions. Okay, this all comes under the proofs. We say proof, right? If any police person is investigating any case, so these police people will be finding for the proofs. In the same manner, if we want to learn about the history, we need some resources. So that resources are coins, manuscripts, buildings, monuments, art, inscriptions. So these all are the different kind of sources which gives a lot of information to the people who are learning about the history. So that's why the history has been divided into two categories, prehistory and history. Prehistory means where there were no kind of records are available to learn about the prehistory. Just only through some clues we have learned what kind of people have survived in those days, what were the activities of the people, what kind of life they have led in those days. Only through some clues we could find about the prehistory. But about the history, we have some kind of resources. So through the resources we can learn about the history. So children, remember that history has been divided into two categories. One is prehistory and the second one is history. Prehistory means there were no kind of records were available. This all three stone ages comes under the prehistory, and history means where there were records were available after the Neolithic Stone Age, the next generation which started, the civilization which started. So that comes under the history where we have the recordings, the proofs or the resources were available to know about the history, right? So these are about the history. And now let us discuss sources of the history, just a bit moment. But before going to learn about the sources of history, and let us see history tells about what the history tells about. Okay, the history tells about the past, the knowledge. It gives the knowledge, it gives a lot of information about the past people, what kind of activities, what kind of life, what kind of culture, what kind of society was there in the past days. So that everything about the people who led their life before to us. So the history tells to us that what kind of lifestyle they led, or what kind of culture before us, what kind of society before us. So everything about the previous generation people, which will be told by the history. And next, what is the reasons, what are the reasons that we have to learn the history? Is it important to learn the history? Yes, it is important. See, this learning about the history, it helps to find out our ancestors. So, history tells about that who are our ancestors. History tells about our ancestors. Like we all are like near to each other, we all are related to each other. So it is must and should that we have to know about the history. So, and also history trains us to learn from the mistakes made by the people in the past. So history tells that whatever the mistakes were done in the past, whatever the mistakes done in the past, so again these mistakes will not repeat in the present. So means already these mistakes were done by our ancestors, again the same mistakes we don't repeat. So that is the reason we must know like about our past, so that we don't commit any kind of mistakes in our present days. And history teaches us to research and inquiry facts. So history also teaches us a very interesting facts also, and also it gives knowledge of inquiring. History tells us how to inquire the things and to know about the facts. So that is the reason also we have to learn the history. And also It helps to become broad-minded and liberal about other people and their culture. So just now I have told you, to know about the culture of our ancestors, we have to learn the history. When we are learning about the different people, okay, our mind becomes broad. So there are so many useful things if we learn about the history. We can find about our ancestors. We can train, we can train that what the ancestors they have done the mistakes. So we can train ourselves that not to commit any kind of mistakes. And also we can learn the research and to know more about the about the history and their facts also. And also our mind becomes broad, and also we can learn about the different people and their culture. So these are the different kind of learning which we can learn from the history. So that is the reason we have to learn about the history, so we can find more information about the history. So that is why these all are the benefits we have if we learn the history. So don't think that why we have to learn the history. So for example, see, your childhood, maybe you're studying in the grade 6, but sometimes maybe your parents or your grandparents about your childhood, if they were, when they were explaining about your childhood to you, sometimes you will surprised by listening to the words which were told by your grandparents or your parents, that you used to do like this, you used to cry like this, or used to play like this. So when they were telling such things about your past, means when you were a kid, when you were a child, what kind of activities you used to do, in what way you used to eat, or in what way you used to cry or play. So when we are learning about our past, we feel so surprised. In the same manner, when we are learning about past also, we feel so surprised, like how they led their life in the early generation. So these all are the different kinds of the knowledge which we can learn from the history. And to learn about the history, timeline is very, very important. Timeline always shows the events in order. Timeline always shows events in order. Means from when? From 1st century to or 21st century. Likewise, just it's an example. Okay, or whatever the events took place, this all the events will be shown in a order, in an order. So that is called as a timeline. Timeline helps us to learn the events in order. So timeline is also very, very important to know. And the history, the centuries, means the eras, are two eras we can find here. So BC and AD. So the history we can take into two eras. Okay, two eras. One is BC and second one is AD. So BC means before Christ. So the before Christ era means Jesus Christ birth. Before Jesus Christ birth, that era, means that period will be called as the BC, before Christ. Okay, and after Christ means after death of the Jesus Christ, that era will be called as AD, means Anno Domini. Okay, the after death of the Jesus Christ, that era will be called as AD. AD in the sense Anno Domini. And one more era will be there, that is CE, means Christ era, when Jesus Christ was alive. In that era, that duration will be called as CE, Christ era. So the complete history we can divide into three eras: BC, CE and AD. Before, BC means before Christ, and CE means Christ era, and AD means Anno Domini. So in these three eras we can learn about the history. And and also, we when we are learning about the history in BC or in CE or in AD, we can learn about the different civilizations. civilizations in the sense where the group of people started, living in the areas or near the water areas. Mostly, this all the civilizations started, you know, started developing near the water areas, because those days water is very important source for them for agriculture. Their main occupation was agriculture. In those days, the main occupation of the people was agriculture. So, most of the civilizations were started near the water area or the river areas, river or valleys area. If you take Mesopotamian civilization, which we have learned in the earlier class, or if we take Nile civilization, or which we have learned in the earlier class. So these all the civilization, or we have learned about the Mohenjo-daro and Harappa civilization. Okay, so these all the civilizations which were started near the water area. So when we are learning about this BC or CE or AD, so most of the civilizations also we can learn in that eras. Okay, so this is the introduction of the history and why we have to learn the history. Now let us go for the sources of the history. So what are the sources of the history we have? So we have actually two kinds of sources of history. The sources of history are two types, that is literary sources and archaeological sources. The sources of history is two types, literary sources and archaeological sources. So literary sources in the sense, literary in the word itself, it is conveying the message which are in the written form. Okay, that sources comes under the literary sources. For example, books, inscriptions, manuscripts, okay, coins, these all comes under the literary sources. And next one is archaeological sources. Archaeological sources in the sense, the monuments, buildings, okay, so and art, this all comes under the archaeological sources. So the sources of history are two types. Okay, the sources of history are two types. One is literary sources and the second one is archaeological sources. One is literary sources and the second one is archaeological sources. If you want to write, children, you can write down. So the sources of history are divided into two types, literary sources and archaeological sources. And again these literary sources. So first let us go what is mean by literary sources. So all the written format, okay, written formats comes under the literary sources. Then archaeological sources. What is the meaning of the archaeological sources? Like constructions, all kind of constructions. I'll tell you later on what all are different kind of constructions, I'll tell you, but all kind of constructions comes under the archaeological sources. Again, these literary sources also have been divided into two categories, religious literaries and secular. religious literary sources and secular literary sources. So what is mean by religious literary sources and what is mean by secular literary sources? So children, again once again I am explaining literary sources. The sources of history have been divided into two categories: literary sources and archaeological sources. So what is mean by literary sources means the written format comes under the literary sources. Written format means like books, okay, inscriptions or manuscripts. These comes under the literary sources. These all are in the form of written. So this all comes under the literary sources. Again, these literary sources have been divided into two categories: religious literary sources and secular literary sources. So what is mean by religious literary sources? So let us see. The religious literary sources means the religious books which will be followed by the different religions. So this religious books comes under the religious literary sources. For example, if you take Vedas, okay, Quran, Bible, okay, these all comes under the religious. Vedas are the religious books of Hindus. Quran is a religious book of Muslims and Bible is a religious book of Christians. Means these all are the religions. So religious literary sources means all the religious books comes under the religious literary sources. Then what is the secular literary sources? These books, whatever the general information which is written. So these all general books which can be read by all the religions, okay, which can be read by all the religions. So such books comes under the secular literary books. These books are not related to any religion. These are general books, general informative books. So these books can read by all the religious people. So that books are called as the secular literary sources, and these are religious literary sources. Means religious in the word itself, it is conveying message that all the religious books comes under the religious literary sources, and secular literary sources means all the religions can be, can read those books. These books will not come under any kind of religion. So these all sources of the history, literary sources of the history. And coming to the archaeological sources. So what comes under the archaeological sources? So let us see now. Monuments, monuments, artifacts, artifacts in the sense if any material they have prepared like utensils or anything, that comes under the artifacts. And seals, seals means nowadays we are calling as stamp, okay, and inscriptions and coins. So these all are coming under the archaeological sources: monuments, artifacts, seals, inscriptions and coins. So these all comes under the archaeological sources. So children, once again I just want to repeat, sources of history are two types: literary sources and archaeological sources. So literary sources means books, all books, inscriptions, okay, manuscripts, this all comes under the literary sources. Means in the history, in the past days, some of the people they have composed some kind of books, either the religious books or non-religious books, which we can learn about the history. Okay, those all comes under the literary sources. And archaeological sources means all kind of constructions. Okay, mostly monuments, okay, buildings, forts, this all comes under the archaeological sources. And not only that, articraft, seal, inscription, coins, and still we can add tools also. The tools which they have used, the clothes which they have used, the art, which kind of art they have drawn. So this all comes under the archaeological sources. So through these literary sources and archaeological sources, we can learn about history very easily. Okay, if you want to learn about the history, if you refer these two kind of sources, so it will be easy for us to learn about the history. Okay, so these are the sources of the history which we have. Now children, I'll show you some sources of history. See, this is a building, okay, gateway of India. This is a source of history. And now children, here you can see the inscriptions. These are all written in the Sanskrit language, okay. These all are the inscriptions. We may not read, but the person who knows Sanskrit language, that person can read these letters, okay. So this is also one of the source of history, right? And also I'll show you some more sources of history, right? So children, here you can see the different kind of tools were used by the people who survived before us. If you can see cave painting, see, you can see the painting which was done on the caves, which was existed in 13,000 BC, means before Christ. Okay, in between 1800 and 1700 BC, first hill forts are created. Hill forts, forts in the sense fencing walls, kind of a very long fencing walls were created in 800 to 700 BC. Again, BC means before Christ. Okay, the farming was started in 4500 BC to 3500 BC. The farming, this is set up farming. And the coins which they have used, these all are the sources of the history. And here you can see people being using metal for hunting purpose, and first copper mining. And this is a object created for the cutting of the trees, and this is the kingdom symbol. And here you can see the iron used for their daily purpose. And the Roman civilization was started in the 43 AD, means after death of the Jesus Christ. And the the pottery which they have used as their utensils, and the horse which they used for their transportation purpose. Means this all comes under the sources of the history, which we can learn from the these all sources we can learn about the history.